Okay, let's look how we can simplify your complex fraction. Now there's a couple ways Alex will teach you to do this. I'm going to kind of show you the easiest way for me, how I kind of look at these to simplify them. The goal is to basically make it one thing on the top, one thing on the bottom in the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point out that there are essentially four fractions. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. Now this is obviously 1 over 1 and this is 2 over 1, so it's not very interesting fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of those individual fractions and I'm going to factor the denominator if it has one. So if I rewrite this, this is going to be 1 minus x minus 8. Now I have 4x minus 20, which I can simply take a GCF out of x minus 5. Now on the bottom I have 2 plus 2 over, now this is just x minus 5, nothing really factors, so it's x minus 5 again. So the goal is, the key is to look at the denominator. So I'm going to look at this denominator here, and I'm going to look at this denominator here. And I'm going to look what my LCD is. My LCD in this case is going to be x minus 5, because I need that, and a 4. For an LCD, you're just looking what's in either denominator, and you're putting that in your total LCD. So in this case, my LCD will be 4 times the quantity x minus 5. So that's the first step. Get them factored, figure out what the LCD is. They could all four have denominators. You just want to make sure everything that's in any denominator is in there. Just a quick addition, like if we put x plus 3 here on this one, I know it's not there, but if it was, then that would go in my LCD as well. In this case, we just have the 4 and the x minus 5. So what I'm going to do once I have the LCD is I'm going to multiply it to all the fractions. So in this case, there's 4 fractions. So I'm going to multiply it to all those fractions. When I multiply it, I'm going to multiply it on the top. So I'm going to do 4 and x minus 5 here. I'm going to do 4 and x minus 5 here. I'm going to do 4 and x minus 5 here. And I'm going to do 4 and x minus 5 here. So I just do it on top of all the numerators. So the benefit of this is, if you look at the first fraction, it's that times 1, that's fine. But this one, I have a 4 on top and bottom, it will cancel, and an x minus 5 that cancels. And on the bottom, I'm going to have an x minus 5 that cancels. So the goal is to get rid of all the denominators, so now I'm left with 4 times x minus 5 minus x minus 8. And you notice I put that x minus 8 in parentheses. Anytime you have something left, that's always a good idea. On the bottom, I'm going to have 8 times x minus 5. And the 8 becomes, I'm just multiplying this 2 and this 4 first, and then I'll distribute. You could distribute the 4 and then the 2, but it's easier just to distribute an 8 one time. And then I'm going to have plus 8, because I have 2 times 4. So now I'll just simplify this. So I'll distribute the 4, so I have 4x minus 20 minus x plus 8 over 8x minus 40 plus 8. So that's just doing some distributions. So now I'll go ahead and simplify this. On the top, I have 4x minus x, like terms, this one and this one. So I get 3x. Minus 20 and positive 8 is minus 12. All over 8x, that doesn't combine. But then I have negative 40 plus 8, that's minus 32. So now we at least have one thing on top and bottom. The trick for Alex is they now will want you to try to look if you can factor this further and see if you can simplify it further. The top I can now factor as 3x minus 4, because I can take a 3 out because they're both divisible by 3. The bottom are both divisible by 8, so that'll be 8x minus 4. And quite honestly, a lot of times it does not simplify, but this works out real nice. The x minus 4s will cancel out. So our final answer is just 3 over 8. So we factor, we find the LCD, we multiply that LCD to all the tops, We simplify top and bottom, and then lastly, we try to factor and see if any of those factorizations will yield anything that will cancel out. Let's go ahead and look at one more. So this is one I just pulled off your account. So we get 1 plus 7 over y minus 2 over 1 minus 7y plus 2. Now the nice thing is this one's kind of already factored out. So our LCD is going to be y minus 2 and y plus 2. Because those are the only two denominators. The other ones are just one. So I need both of them because the LCD is any factors that appear in any of the denominators. So our goal is to multiply everything by y minus 2y plus 2. So I'm going to multiply y minus 2y plus 2 to the first term. And remember, we just always put this in the numerators. And then, hopefully, if we've done this correctly, all the denominators will cancel, and they will. This y minus 2 will cancel, and this y plus 2 will cancel. So what I end up with, in the first one, I have y minus 2, y plus 2, plus 7 times y plus 2. I'm just writing what's left over. And then I'm going to have y minus 2, y plus 2. And then I'm going to have minus 7, y minus 2. So now I will FOIL the first two, or the first one in each top and bottom, and then I'll distribute the 7 and the negative 7 to the other two. So this one's going to become y squared minus 4, because it's y squared, then minus 2y, and plus 2y, which cancel, minus 4. Plus 7y plus 14 all over y squared minus 4. Again, that's just the FOIL of y minus 2y plus 2 minus 7y plus 14. So now I'll put those together. So the top I get y squared plus 7y plus 10. And on the bottom I get y squared minus 7y plus 10. So now these are both trinomials that I can factor. So the top, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 10, add to 7. So that's 5 and 2, y plus 5, y plus 2. So factoring obviously comes in a lot in this whole pie slice, to be honest. So y plus 5, y plus 2. And on the bottom, two numbers that multiply to 10 but add to negative 7 are y minus 5, y minus 2. Now, interestingly enough, if you look at the top and bottom here, nothing is the same. So nothing will cancel out. So that will be our answer. So once you get to the end, if you factor and nothing cancels out, great. Then that will be your answer. If it does, then cancel it out, and whatever's remaining will be your answer. So hopefully this was helpful. Please let me know if you have other questions about it.